Hello, everybody. My name is Robin, and I'm a certified yoga and meditation teacher with Warriors at Ease. Welcome to our Operation Remote Resilience yoga program. Today, I am here to offer you a 30-minute restorative practice that is designed to unwind tension and anxiety from the body through the use of supportive props and a deeper awareness to our breath connection. I have added today some liquid mind music, just some nice background ambiance. If it is a problem, please leave a comment, but I hope that you may or may not hear it, and if you hear it, hopefully it's soft. This CD was offered to yoga teachers free, so there's no licensing issue. Liquid Mind number 12, called Peace. So we will move forward and I will explain to you the props that I'm using today. I'm going to use a couple of blankets and I'm going to use a couple of couch cushions and I have a bolster as well. But if you don't have a bolster, don't worry. You can stack your cushions or stack your blankets and kind of make do. That's part of the restorative practice, is finding ways to support your body in a way that brings in more ease and more comfort. So you kind of have to explore that yourself. I also have a couple of blocks I brought, and on one of the poses, I'll show you where you can kind of tuck blocks in. So whatever you have to kind of support yourself, if you need to grab some couch cushions, the nice long sofa cushions are really nice to use in place of a bolster as well. We'll begin by sitting on a folded blanket. I'm going to lift my hips with kind of a double folded blanket here and settle my sit bones down into the blanket. And sitting on a blanket kind of lifts the hips a little bit, drops the knees down. It's kind of protective for the knees, and it also helps us to kind of have that awareness of a lifting upward through our spine. So let's begin with connecting to the breath. And may I suggest that you begin with palms up, with the hands open, or bring yourself into a finger mudra, one that you might like that helps to kind of focus the mind. And I like palms up because it reminds me that my inhale brings in nourishment to my body, and my exhale helps me to release the residue from the day and just kind of let go. So let's begin in whatever way feels correct for you today at this time. And let's begin to just breathe through the nose, in through the nose. And let's exhale out through the mouth. Just a nice, soft, cleansing breath. And again, in through the nose and out through the mouth. And one more time. This time, feel free to sound your voice in a sigh. Sighing brings ease into the body. So we inhale through the nose, and then just let the sound come as it does. Already beginning to feel that shift inward. And now, bring the tip of your tongue to the roof of your mouth. And just begin to breathe naturally, letting the inhale fill the belly and the exhale empty it. And let's take some rounds of noticing where the breath is going in our bodies. Inhale, filling. Exhale, emptying. Maybe you have an intention tonight for your practice to feel some calm or ease in your body, or maybe you need to let go of things, events that happened today, distractions in the mind. Perhaps choose an image like a placid lake or the expansive sky, to just let the thoughts fall away with the breath. So maybe take about 3 more breaths here, and then we're going to transition into a pose. Two more breaths. And one more breath. All right, and if your eyes are open, we'll look down to the mat and we will begin to set up for the next pose, which would be to lay a blanket on your mat so that you can lay your torso and your head on the blanket. So I have a rectangle fold here. And I'm going to lift off of my seated blanket, move that back to the side. And I'm going to come down here, laying on top, my torso on top of the blanket. Ease your way on down. And just kind of let the hands rest in maybe a cactus formation and bring a side of your head to the mat. And begin to rock your hips back and forth, settle in, find where it feels soothing for you to spend a minute or so on this side of your body. And then after you've taken maybe 5 to 10 breaths, you might want to change your head and bring it to the other side. Let's just begin to breathe together on this side. And notice now, as you draw in the breath, how you feel your belly expand against the earth. Notice the rise and the fall of your back. Notice what sensations you feel as you're lying here, reclining on the earth. Perhaps you can let the breath exhale in a long, slow way, allowing the shoulders to soften, allowing the belly to feel empty, allowing the hips to feel supported and yet a little heavy on the earth. So maybe you take a couple more breaths here, and then turn your head to the other side. The other side may feel a little more awkward, so try it. See if you can find a way to breathe into it and to feel a release. And if it's too uncomfortable, come on back to this side. And take another 5 to 10 breaths here. So in restorative poses, we try to stay for about 3 minutes, allowing our body to feel supported. So restorative yoga is restful yoga for stressful times. We're giving our bodies the opportunity to unplug and find the calming part of our nervous system, our rest and our digest, or our rest and restore, bringing more comfort into the body and ease into the mind. All right, so wherever you are, I invite you to take about 3 more breaths and begin to be ready to transition. We're going to lift up our chest off the floor. So bring your hands back towards your shoulders, begin to rise on up. And I think I'm going to just come back here and I'm going to fold this blanket. I'm going to use this as part of my support right now. And we're going to come into a supported Sphinx pose. So I'm going to take my blanket and 1 pillow. I might use 2 pillows. Just depends on how much support I feel like I need. And I'm just going to pull this right under my upper chest and torso. And see if I can settle my shoulders softly down, forearms on the earth. I'm going to rock my hips just a little bit side to side, softening through the shoulders and the neck. Feeling some ease come into my lower back. My legs feel nice and long and extended on the mat. I feel like I really don't have to do anything. I just am resting here, and these props are supporting my upper body really nicely. So I can kind of lay here with some ease and let my head sort of drift towards the mat. If it becomes uncomfortable, you can always pull your props a little bit more forward, hug them, and rest your head down. So I invite you now to just explore this. See if you can begin to feel the opening across the shoulders, the releasing of the head. My chin is resting onto my pillow, kind of supporting my head. My arms are softly resting on the floor. Again, my hips feel easy. And I'm just going to breathe here. Feeling the compression and the decompression as I breathe. Noting that I can fully let go with my breath and bring a little more softness, a little more ease into my upper body and my lower body, my back and my belly. Noticing the flow, the filling up and the emptying out. So I invite you to take maybe 3 more breaths here. Maybe 2 more breaths. And 1 more breath. So we begin to transition, drawing our hands back under our shoulders, pressing down into the mat, coming onto your knees. Bring yourself back. And now we're going to come into supported child's pose. So I'm going to come right here onto my thighs, and I'm going to rotate things here, my props. So I have the bolster. And again, if you don't have a bolster with you tonight, just stack your pillows and your blankets in a way that you can kind of round your torso over them. All right. And again, you choose a height that works for you. Again, in restorative, you kind of want to work for something that makes you feel like you don't have to work so hard, that you can kind of swim into the pose. So draw the stack in between your thighs, and then you're just going to lean from your hips and just drape your torso right over this stack. And right away, a release of breath comes for me. I can just sigh out and just feel myself fully supported in this child's pose. And as you know, child's pose can be kind of a tight place to be, but with the use of the supports, it feels really, really releasing for me personally. And I feel the front of my body supported on the stack, and then I feel my back open and release. So as you breathe, what do you notice is happening in your body? Where do you feel shifts of energy, tension, a softening? Sometimes I've heard child's pose called a wisdom pose, because it's an opportunity to draw in a little more inward and notice what's happening inside. Learning how to sit, stay, to be more, and do less. That's a mantra for restorative yoga practices. Being more, just being, not so much doing. Feel the lengthening through your lower back. Feel the softening of the shoulders. And again, at this point, if you wish, you could always turn your head to the other side. You may find one side feels a little easier to stay in than the other. But give it a try on both sides just to release the muscles in your neck and your upper shoulders. All right, and let's take about 4 more breaths here. And then 3. And then 2. And then 1. And ease your way on up. And we're going to come right to side here. Bring your hips to the side of your stack, and we're going to do our side lying deer pose. Don't have to do much adjusting on this one. So what you're going to do is you're going to lean your hip up against your stack, and you're going to lay long ways. And then you get to decide what you want to do with this top arm. You can kind of cross your ankles. So this pose is supportive for our internal organs. It's releasing the muscles over the stack. And then it supports the pancreas, the liver, the stomach as you breathe into the support. So you have to kind of sense your shoulder and how your shoulder feels tonight. You could extend this arm long overhead, interlace your fingers, and really get a nice opening on the top side of your torso. But if your shoulder's a little cranky and it's like, it's not feeling comfortable and you're not feeling ease and you're feeling discomfort, then maybe you want to roll this arm down and just let it rest on the earth. So you decide what brings more ease into your body and what allows you to just focus on the breath. Draw your attention inward. Feel the dropping down of your hips and the opening through the side of the body and the support underneath your whole torso. See if you can allow yourself to breathe a little more easy. Again, notice where the breath is going in your body. Where are you expanding on the inhale, and where are you softening on the exhale? All right. We're going to need to do this on both sides of the body, of course. But we're going to insert another pose for the release in the hips before we switch sides. So take maybe 3 more breaths. 2 more breaths. 1 more breath. Release your hands or begin to bring yourself up to seated, however you are positioned. Draw yourself upright. All right, and we're going to make a shift here. So we're going to pull our stack forward. So for this one, we're going to be side lying with the leg on the bolster. Again, you decide whether this works for you the way you have it now, or whether you need to take it down a little bit. But you're going to come right alongside of it, your stack. Lengthen your arm on the floor and bring your top leg onto the bolster. And then just kind of lean into the stack. What's kind of nice about having a long pillow here is that you can kind of hug it in and you feel it on your torso as well. So you're bringing it's like kind of having something to hug into. And this is really nice for releasing the hips. Take a nice deep breath in and a nice sigh out. Allow your jaw to soften. See if you can release your shoulders a little bit more. I'm supporting my head with my arm. Try to take your exhales just a little bit longer than your inhales to allow for a full release and a calming cue to our brain. Time to rest and digest. Allow your mind to rest on the pillow of the breath. So let's take 4 more breaths here. 3 more breaths. 2 more breaths. 1 more breath. And prepare yourself to begin to shift. It's going to press our way up, release our leg from the bolster. Draw yourself slowly up. And then I'm just going to shift sides by just bringing things this way, swinging my legs around. And we will come back to side lying deer, bringing your stack back, hip up against the end of your stack. And then you're going to take the side of your torso right over that blanket, right over your stack. Support your head. And this may feel a little awkward at first when you first start it. Maybe kind of wrap your one foot around your ankle because you're kind of putting pressure on a side of your rib cage that maybe you're not used to. And again, you have your organs in there. So the organs are going to respond to the pressure. So again, kind of wiggle and find your way to where you feel like you can kind of release. But again, it's really good for vital function of the internal organs. So shift as you need to kind of find what works on this side. And I noticed for myself that shifting to this side wasn't quite as comfortable and easy as the other side. So I'm curious about that. I'm going to just breathe. I'm going to lengthen my arms over my head, but I could bring one arm to the earth if that felt more supportive. And just breathe. Draw my attention back to the flow of the breath and where I feel a connection in my body to the support, the props. How do I feel supported? How does it make me feel to be supported? My breath can come easily, or sometimes it's a little ragged. There's no right way, just noticing how your breath is in this present moment, how your body feels in this present moment. Allowing yourself time for compassion, time out, self-care. All right. Take 2 more breaths. And as you take your final breath, let's release the arms. Let's bring ourselves up. Slowly come on up, and let's shift the stack. So you can lie down on your side, and you're going to bring your top leg on top of the stack, lengthening long. Head supported on your arm. Just really roll yourself into that stack. Feel your whole hip and thigh, and again, you feel a little connection to your midsection on your torso. See if you can really allow the weight of the hips to just release onto the support. And there's another thought in yoga that when we bring release into the hips, they're an area that can potentially store a lot of toxic emotion. And so when we kind of soften and release the hips, then it kind of connects and releases our heart, that emotional center in our torso where we feel everything. And then it can release the mind too, where the real emotional center is housed in our brain. So hips are important. They're a large stabilizing structure in our body that we hold a lot of tension in naturally, as well as maybe some stored memory, sensations. So they're an important part of the body to allow ourselves to just say it's okay to let go. It's okay to rest. It's okay to soften and just be in this moment with nowhere else to go and nothing else to do. It's nice to have your company in this moment as I allow the same for myself. Breathing easy. Breathing softly with self-compassion. So let's take maybe 3 more breaths here so I can bring you into your final resting pose. It's a good one. Take 1 more breath. And then bring your hand to the earth. Press down. Allow yourself to rise on up slowly. And then bring your stack to the top of your mat here. And we're going to use that to recline onto. We're going to do a reclining bound ankle pose. So depending on what you have, you're going to lay back on this. And there's kind of a few ways to do this. If you had another another blanket, you could fold that. Use that for your head. You can bring even another pillow here because, again, you kind of have to adjust for the length of your spine and something that feels lifting and supportive. And then you can bring something here for your feet too, and I'll kind of explain that. But let's find this one first. I'll explain this part next. So find a way you can lean back and support your upper back. So your lower back is coming just to the end of the bolster. So you're going to feel this support come to your middle and upper back, and your hips are dropping down on the earth. And then you're going to bring the soles of your feet together, and you can rest them on something else, or they can just rest flat on the mat, whichever feels better for you. And here's where you could use blocks. You can bring blocks to support your outer thighs and knees. So I'm going to bring this little pillow here, and I'm going to bring the soles of my feet, and I'm going to tuck the blocks right here, and then I'm going to just let the arms release. So my chest is lifted and softly opening. My neck and my head are fully supported. My thighs are supported, so I don't have to try to hold them in any position, and I'm not straining in my inner thigh muscles or my groin muscles. They're just easy. I feel the hips drop to the earth. I feel the belly drop. The heart is open. The feet are soft and relaxed, connected to each other. The weight of my arms are supported by the earth. A fully releasing restorative pose here that you could spend quite a few minutes in, should you choose to do so. And I heartily encourage you to do so. To allow yourself to breathe, soften, connect, and then just allow yourself to rest. Bringing more comfort into the body, ease into the mind. A restful pose for maybe stressful times, and maybe not. Maybe if it's not even stressful, it's just nice to take time out for yourself, for your self-care. I invite you to stay in this pose as long as possible. I'm going to bring myself up and close our practice today. Please stay in your pose for at least another couple of minutes, really absorbing the benefits of your restorative practice. So I thank you for joining me today as part of Warriors at Ease, Operation Remote Resilience. I hope you enjoyed the class, and this video will be posted on the Warriors at Ease channel on YouTube shortly. Please consider visiting the link below and making a donation to help us keep these classes going. Viewers like you make it possible for teachers like me to provide these services. May the sun always shine above you, and may love always surround you. May your heart be filled with peace, love, and compassion. I'm Robin, singing off of Warriors at Ease, Operation Remote Resilience in health, resilience, and connection. Namaste.